you're from and maybe what grade you teach. Just go ahead and pop that in there. That way we can all get to know each other a little better on this fine Saturday morning. By the way, if you see me looking to the side, I just have you guys on my extended monitor. Excellent. So I see we have a range of people. Nice. I see we have some administrators with us and some elementary as well as secondary teachers. Thank you again for joining us. All right.
Looks like most of our friends today this morning are from the Los Angeles area. Southern California, let me put it that way, because so we have someone from San Jose. We'll just go with all of California then.
Yeah. That's what we'll go with. All right, so let's take a moment to introduce ourselves. I'm Sandra Naranjo, and I am a digital learning coach from Linwood Unified.
And I'm Kathleen Graham. I am also a digital learning coach from Linwood Unified.
And we are very happy that you are here with us. We know there are some other great sessions going on, so the fact that you came here to ours means so much. So today we're going to share with you how to maximize learning with Google to support your English learners. As we know, we do have a large population of English learners in LA County or California, since we have a lot of Californians here with us from all over the state. And learning a new language can be complex. So we're going to share with you a few tools within Google that will hopefully help make the content more accessible for your students, as well as a few tools and slides that may even help them with some creation, because as we know, all of our learners come with so much knowledge and so much creativity, and we don't want the language to be a barrier for them when it comes to learning and creating content. So here's our agenda for this session. First, we're going to go over some extensions. We're going to tell you what they are, how to add them to Google Chrome, and how to pin them. And then we're going to cover 4 extensions that can help your learners access the content. Next, we'll move it over to YouTube and some video settings. Then we'll move over to Google Slides. We'll share some tools that will help students, as well as some add-ons that can help with content creation. And then hopefully we'll have some time at the end so that you can try a few of them on your own, because one of the most important things is to really try it yourself to see how simple they can be to use, so that you can decide which ones are the best ones you want your students to use. So Chrome extensions are programs that can help improve the functionality of the Chrome browser, and they can even help improve the user experience on a website. Please note that after installing an extension, you may need to refresh your other pages or tabs or windows in order to use the extension there. Okay. So to add a Chrome extension, you would come to the Chrome Web Store, which is chrome.google.com/webstore, and you can search the store. In this case, I will search for an ad blocker for YouTube. I can scroll through to see what's available, but if I find one that interests me, I can click on it to learn more about it. And I can scroll through to see a preview of that extension, as well as some more information, as well as see reviews and such. And if it's one that I would like, I would click Add to Chrome. Make sure I click Add Extension on the pop-up. And as you can see, I get a notification letting me know that it has been added. And to pin that extension, I come here to this little puzzle icon. I find it in the pop-up menu and I click that pin. So as you can see, it is now pinned to my toolbar in my Chrome browser. So the first extension I want to talk to you about is called Read Aloud Text to Speech. Now, what that tool does is it will read the text aloud from any website to students in a voice that they choose. So that extension looks like this little red and black megaphone. And I can click it here. I'm gonna go ahead and click stop. Now, the first time you use it, you may need to refresh your browser, but you want to make sure to click this little settings here. You will want to select a voice. I just went with the first one. Here, as you can see, I can adjust the speed of the voice, as well as the pitch of the voice and the volume. But I'm going to go ahead and leave that on high. And then here's a text highlighting feature. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that on, and you will see why. And to get started, I just click it. And as you can see, it starts reading. On Mars. So that highlight feature highlights the text that is being read.
With a helicopter, NASA's new rover, Perseverance, arrived on Mars.
And here at the bottom, I can decrease the size of the font or increase. So the name of this extension, one more time, is Read Aloud Text-to-Speech Reader. And it is linked in the presentation. And towards the end, I will drop all the links for all the extensions and everything that we share in the chat. And as you can see, I can simply play and pause. I can actually forward to skip a few paragraphs.
Perseverance's scientists learned more high-tech data collector.
So one more time, if you first install it, you want to refresh the page you were on, and then you want to click on the settings.
New NASA rover lands on
voice and adjust the speed and pitch as necessary. Now, what's great about this tool is because it works very well.
NASA rover lands on Mars with a helicopter. NASA's new rover, Perseverance,
it works on sites such as Newsela and other websites like history.com and biography, but it also works on Google Slides. If you have it here, here I have a slide. And it will take a moment to read it.
Geology, white medium square,
so
and the scientific study.
Docs, as well as Gmail. And it will also read PDFs.
The Technology Services Department plans on pushing the new web filter to students once again to eliminate variables with
font, increase the font. So this is a great tool because it will allow students to have the content read aloud for them. Also great for us as adults. If we don't want to read our email, it'll read our Gmail for us. Another extension I want to share with you is called Dictionary by Google or Google Dictionary. That one is this little red book here. Now what's neat is I can double click on a word on a site. And as you can see, I get this little pop-up bubble. Oh, it says no definition found. That means I probably need to refresh this or clear my cache and cookies, but do know that it does work. And it's great because it will give you a pop-up bubble with the definition of the word, and it will also read the word aloud for students. Let's give it a moment to refresh. And that one's great because it allows students to look up the definition within the site without having to leave it. Let's see if it'll work this time. I promise you it does work. For some reason, it doesn't want to work on Newsela. Now, one thing about our ELs, we do get some students that are newcomers who may not know any English at all. And to help make the content accessible to them, we do recommend Google Translate. Now, most of us are probably familiar with the app on our phone because we'll tend to translate things that we see on our devices, our mobile devices, right? But there is an app available. Now, I can right-click on a word, and on the pop-up, you see Google Translate. So I can click that there, and it'll open up Google Translate in a new tab. where students can then select the language that they wish to translate the word to. Once it decides to load. Now, if students do not see the language pop up here, they can click this drop-down menu to select from a number of languages that are available in Google. So here I'm going to select Spanish. And as you can see, it's telling me that the translations are gender specific. And I see the translation here. But on the English side, if I want to hear the word, I can click this little audio.
Neighboring.
So it reads it aloud for the students. So they can hear the pronunciation. So it also works if I want to translate a selection of text and not just one word. So I would highlight that text, right click on it, select Google Translate. And again, it will open up in a new tab. And again, students will need to select the language. And as you can see, it'll give them a translation. And if I hover my cursor over the text, it'll show me the corresponding text in English as well as the translated language. And again, if students need to hear the text, they can click this little audio icon here.
NASA's new rover, Perseverance, arrived on Mars,
and it will play the text for them, which is really neat because they can see it in English, listen to it in English while reading it in Spanish and get the meaning. Now, I'm not sure if any of you knew about this, but you can also use the Google Translate extension to translate an entire page. So to do that, you want to make sure you're on the page you wish to translate. Come to the top, click on the extension, and then click Translate this page. Here you get this bar, and you want to select the language. To do that, you click this drop down here and select a language. Now, since Spanish is my first language, I'm just going to keep selecting Spanish. And then Google's AI takes a moment to translate the entire text into that language. So as you can see, it is now completely in Spanish. And if I wanted to go back to the original, I can just click Show Original, or I can click this X right here. So this is really neat because if you have those newcomers who know very little to no English, you can still assign them the content in English, and they can use this tool to translate the entire page into their primary language so they can get that comprehension. Now, I'm not going to show it right now, but know that in the slide deck, there's also instructions on how to use Google Translate to translate the captions in Google Meet for those of you who use Google Meet for your synchronous distance learning instruction. And the final extension I'm going to share with you is called Immersive Reader. So to use it, I would highlight a section of text, right click, and then select Help Me Read This. So we're going to give it a moment to load. So the Immersive Reader is really neat. This is actually an unofficial extension for those of you who are familiar with Flipgrid, Wakelet, or Pear Deck. The Immersive Reader is that tool that reads the text aloud for students and can also translate it as well as label the parts of speech. And it even has a picture dictionary if it decides to load. Technology is designed to be temperamental this morning. Didn't want to get up on a Saturday. Patience is the key, right? Okay, so for now, we're just going to show you how it works since it's being a little temperamental. So Once it loads, you want to come down here for the voice settings, and you can select the type of voice you want, as well as the voice speed. Here, you also have text preferences. So you can decide the size of the text, as well as the font and the themes. For those of you who like dark mode, that is available. There are also these grammar options. So you can choose to show the syllables for every word, as well as these particular parts of speech. You can even label the parts of speech. So if you're working on adjectives, maybe you can just have students label those, right? So they could hit play, and it'll start reading it. Now, there are also some reading preferences. For those of you who work in lower grade and you use a tracker in person, that would be the line focus. So it'll just show you 1 or 3 lines at a time. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And here's a Pictionary. If you want it on, make sure you toggle it on, so that if you click on a word, as you can see, you will see the word. You can click on the audio icon to listen to it. And there is an image that aligns with that word, which really helps our language learners, right? With those visuals. You can also translate. By word or by entire document. So I'm going to just toggle that to the entire document. So we'll read it in that other language that is selected, and the picture dictionary will also work, as you can see. So they will see the word in the selected language as well as in English. And then just to go back, you can just hit original to see it back in English, or click the back arrow and it will take you back to the website. So we did show you 4 extensions, and it really is up to you which ones you want to try out and share with your students, because we know some of them do similar things, but you may find that your students enjoy Translate over Immersive Reader or vice versa, and that's fine. That's okay. You know your students, you know what will work best with them, right? So next, we're going to go to YouTube. Now, I know that in normal cases before COVID hit, a lot of us were using YouTube, right, to share concepts, show more ideas to our students. But now with distance learning or hybrid learning, I feel that we're using them even more, and that's okay because our students enjoy watching videos, right? So let's meet them where they are. Now, what's great about YouTube videos is that they can show the English language in a variety of situations to our students. So they can show them in real world situations as well. And it can also assist with those very important listening skills, and it has those visuals that will help students with comprehension. So just like we tell our teachers in Linwood, just make sure you watch your videos before sharing with students to make sure that they are appropriate and they are relevant and have that good and audio visual quality. Okay. So we're going to show you some settings that will help your students. So here we have a TED Ed video. If we just hit play, it'll be in normal English and at a normal pace.
You might think you know a lot about Native Americans.
Right, something that we would use in our class, probably 5th grade history. Now, one thing that can help our language learners is turning on those captions. So to do that, you just hit CC. And if we hit play, you will see the captions appear at the bottom.
Popular movies, books, and classes in school, but it turns out that a lot of what we think.
Here we go. They are on, so here we go.
We know about famous Native American figures isn't quite right. Take Sacagawea, for
TED Ed
example.
has the closed captions. So they normally would appear here at the bottom. And what's neat is that you can change them to another language. So if the video has it available, you'll see here in subtitles CC, you'll see a number in parentheses. That means that those are the number of languages available to translate the closed captions. So to translate them, you would hit that arrow and you would see the menu here. And you can select a language. And then they would appear in that language at the bottom. Oh, there they go.
Probably remember her as a beautiful Indian woman who lived an exotic life.
So now they're in
serving as the
English,
all-knowing-
although they should be in Spanish since that's what I selected. Okay, there they go.
Guide for Lewis and Clark's famous expedition, right? Well, that's not exactly how it happened. Not much
So
is known
this
about
way, students can
Sacagawea's
see
early
the
child.
visuals and read the captions either in English or in the language of their choice if they are newcomers or limited English. Now, another setting here in YouTube that can help our learners is the playback speed. So that is also found here in the settings. Now, the playback speed by default is set to normal. However, you can slow it down to 0.75. Now, 0.75 is slower, but not too slow that it sounds robotic, but slow enough to allow our students to process that information. So I'll play it for you here so that you can see that it's not robotic at all.
Childhood. But we do know that she was born in 1788 into the Agatica tribe of the Lemhi Shoshone in what is
So as
now
you can hear,
Idaho.
it is not fast at all, and it's also not too slow. So again, it is something that will make the content more accessible for our students. And we actually heard from one of our teachers that she actually likes using this for herself because she watches some YouTube videos for science and shares them with her students. And she says that the speaker speaks a little fast, so she tends to slow it down for her and her students. Also, by the way, for those of you who watch something later, you can totally speed it up and watch it faster. Not for our students, but for us. So now we're going to move into Google Slides. So as you know, Google Slides is a great way to provide information and lessons to our students, such as hyperslides or vocabulary, things like that. And they can also be used by our students to create and show what they know and collaborate with their peers. So here I have a Google slide with vocabulary. Now, just like we shared the dictionary tool as a Chrome extension, there is a dictionary tool here in Slides that students can use without having to leave Google Slides. So to access that, they would go to Tools, then Dictionary, and the dictionary pops up here on the side. Here, students can type a word from the slide that they may not be familiar with, press Enter on their keyboard, and then it appears there for them. So as you can see, the word shows the syllables, the syllable breakdown, pronunciation, part of speech, as well as the definition and any synonyms associated with that word. So if they want to continue using it, they would just simply click up here, delete the word they initially put, and type in another one. So as you can see, if it is a multi-meaning word, it will have the multiple meanings, as well as the multiple parts of speeches, the definitions, the synonyms, and if applicable, any antonyms for the students to reference. So again, this is very neat because they don't have to leave Google Slides to access this. Students can also use the spell check to check the spelling when they create something before submitting it. I know oftentimes as teachers, we're like, why did our students submit this? There are so many spelling errors. Well, oftentimes a spell check is not on for students. So you might want to teach them to go to Tools, Spelling, and make sure underline errors is checked. So they can click on it to make sure that little check mark appears. So once that is checked, as you can see, all those red squigglies start appearing. So show students that all they need to do to fix the spelling is right click on a word and the suggestion will appear. To accept that suggested spelling, they would click on it and it would replace it. So one more time, they would right click the red squiggle and click the suggested spelling. Now, if they have a lot of red squiggles and they don't want to right click each and every word, they can simply go to Tools, Spelling, and click Spell Check. And they get this little pop-up here where they will see their word, the suggested spelling, and they can click Change to update the spelling. So now my spell check is letting me know that this slide has no more spelling suggestions. And as we know, AI is not perfect, so it's always a good idea to tell our students to just do a quick read through or have a peer read through for them to ensure that they have, in fact, fixed all of their spelling errors. So the next tool in slides that can help with creation is the Explore tool. That is actually one of my favorite tools. You can find the Explore tool here in the Tools menu, or if you look at the bottom right, you see what looks like a star. If you click on it, it will load on the right side. And it's great because it allows you to search the web for content, images, and even searches your drive. And it also helps with layouts. So I'll talk about the layouts in a bit. So in this case, I had the word keychain on here. So I can type it, hit enter on my keyboard. And here I have some web results along with a quick blurb. So I can read about it and continue on. If students want to read more, they would click on one of the web results and it would open in a new tab. In this case, I'm not going to click, I'm just going to scroll through. If I click on images, I can see some images from Google that I can insert into my slide. And what's great about finding images through the Explore tool is that these images are licensed for reuse. So oftentimes we talk to our students about digital citizenship and making sure that they are not using content without permission. Well, Google does that work for them. If they're using the Explore tool to find images, these images that appear in the search results are available and free for them to reuse in their content. Okay. And if I wish to insert a keychain image, I would simply hover my cursor. I see that plus sign. I would click that plus sign. And as you can see, it inserted it into my slide and it's great. Oh, I clicked it twice. It's great because it auto resizes to fit in my slide. And if I click on it, as you can see, it also retains the source information. So where it came from. So again, back to that digital citizenship, this way our students are in a sense citing their sources. And then you, of course, like any image, you can click and drag it to move it and resize it as necessary. And lastly, with the Explore tool here, if I click Drive, it will show me any other documents in my Google Drive that contain that word that I searched for. Now, I have a blank layout here for this slide. There's no layout that has been applied. So I'm going to go hit this back arrow here. And as you can see, since I added an image, these layout suggestions have changed slightly from the first ones that I received. And it's neat because Google's AI sees that I have text, sees that I have an image, and is giving me some suggested slide layouts for this particular slide. So if I wish to apply a slide layout, I click on the one that I want. And as you can see, it now updates my slide. Oh, yes, my cursor, it is the custom cursor extension. It's a fabulous extension, by the way. It's the little things that make us happy, right? And then, of course, you can adjust the slide as necessary. So this also takes a lot of the work out from our students because the layouts are there for them. They can just select the one they like and go from there. So the Explore tool, very amazing. So now I'm going to show you a few add-ons to continue to help with that content creation. Now, add-ons are different tools that can help enhance the use of slides. So to get those add-ons, you click here on add-ons, then go to get add-ons. The add-on marketplace will load where you can then search for the add-on you want. So here on search apps, I will search for Magic Rainbow Unicorns. If that's the one I want, I click on it. I can scroll through to see what this add-on does, read the overview, as well as reviews. And if I decide that this is the add-on I want to have in slides, I would click install. Click continue. select my account. Then read the permissions. It's letting me know that it wants to view my slides because that's where it's going to need to be used. And to display and run third-party content. What that means is that it wants the permission to come up as a menu within Google Slides. So I'm okay with those permissions. I'm going to click allow. Now, don't worry, the magic rainbow unicorns is just an example. This is not one that I'm showing for content creation, and I'm sad that they have it blocked for your district. So now to see and use those add-ons, I would come to add-ons, and as you can see, that one is now added. However, do not worry, do not fret if that one was blocked. That is not one that I'm showing today. One that I want to share with you is called Unsplash Images. So I'm going to launch that one, and the menu will appear on the side. Now, Unsplash Photos will allow students to insert high-resolution photos that are free to use. So they can access them straight here through slides without having to search in Google in another tab or window. So as you can see here, I have a little pop-up that's letting me know that they are high resolution and completely free to use. So let me go to this slide this time. So this slide is about geology. So if I want to search for a photo of geology, I would just type that in here in the search. Hit enter on my keyboard. And as you can see, I have several images to choose from. You can scroll through to see what's available. Once I find one that I like, that I want to insert into my slide, I would click on it. Now, unlike Explore, which auto resizes the image to your slide, Unsplash will not do that. So you will need to resize it once it is inserted, which is why it's taking a while, because these are large photos. So I need to just resize my image and click and drag it wherever I want. So again, to launch that add-on, after you've added it, you would go to add-ons, Unsplash Images, and insert Unsplash Photo. And search, scroll through, click an image you want, and then it is inserted into your slide where you will then need to resize it. And what's great about this add-on is you don't have to, you and your students don't have to create an account to use it. As you saw, it was just ready to go. I just simply launched it, searched, and inserted images. And as you can see, very high resolution and beautiful images, which, you know, if you want to use this as well for your students, really helps with vocabulary and to show those images, right? And one more add-on I want to share is called Icons for Slides. So I have already added that one. So to access it, I would go to Add-ons and then Icons for Slides and click Start. Now, this one's really neat. One of our teachers said that this would remind them a lot of clip art. And just like with Unsplash, I can do all of my searching here in slides without having to leave this slides. And I don't have to create an account. So here I'm looking for science. I'm just going to type science. And as you can see, I get several icons that are in black and white as well as in color. Now, when you're sharing this with your students to use, let them know not to click the ones with the crown, because those are premium and we want to avoid having our students create accounts and do all of that. So tell them to use the ones that don't have that crown. And as you can see, not very many have that crown. So I can just click one here. I then have the option to change the size, but I'm going to leave it at the default and then insert. Once I do that, the icon is inserted into my slide where I can then click and drag it and move it elsewhere. Whoops, went too far. So I can go back and search again. If I want a different one, I can click on it. And it'll give me those same options where I can select the size. And some of them even have an option to change the color for those that are in black and white. then click insert. And it will insert where I can click and drag it and even resize it as necessary. So I like this particular add-on because again, no account creation needed, and I don't have to leave the site to use it. And it really helps students add those visuals when anytime they are creating something to show what they know for you. So we're gonna go ahead and let you try it if you haven't been already. Some of you may have already been trying it as you were going. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the information in the chat so that you can explore freely if you don't have the presentation open. Go ahead and select one, whether it's Chrome, YouTube, or Slides. Then explore one or a few extensions if it was Chrome, the settings in YouTube, or the tools or add-ons for Slides on your own. We're gonna give you 5 minutes and then just come back to the chat and let us know what you tried. All right, that was 5 minutes. So I see some of you have been sharing in the chat. Those of you who haven't had a chance, just go ahead and drop in what it is that you tried and how you see it benefiting your students. And I did drop the link to that the 5-minute timer for those of you who want it. So I see some people added Unsplash and icons. Those are some really good add-ons for slides for students and for even ourselves, right? All right, so we have a few minutes left. If you have any questions, feel free to continue asking them in the chat. We are happy to answer them. We again, thank you so much for joining us. Here's our information if you want to keep in touch. We are both on Twitter, and the 3 icons at the bottom link to our joint accounts. We do have a YouTube channel as well as a joint Twitter and Instagram accounts. So again, thank you so much. We really hope you learned at least one thing by being with us this morning. You're all very welcome.
Sandra, do you have a quick link for, I had it at the beginning for the whole session,
Yes.
The resources, the bit.ly. I know I posted, oh, there it is, I found it. I found it in the chat.
Okay.
Not sure why I can't copy it. There it is.
There it is. You're all very welcome. Let us know, after you share these with your students as well, let us know via Twitter how it's working for your students.
I guarantee you they're going to love